Welcome to the Roto Joe's Fantasy Football Podcast. We're here, week 5. We got some love, some hate, some locks. First off, Caden, let's play a little Would You Rather for the rest of the season. We had a conversation a few days ago about Najee Harris and Dameon Pierce, and we kind of shelved it to finish it tonight. So, rest of season, would you rather have Najee Harris or Dameon Pierce in half-point fantasy football? Redraft league, not dynasty.
So here's the deal. I'm a little biased just by the fact that Dameon Pierce is the running back for my favorite team. Here's the deal. The conversation came up because of a potential trade conversation. And as much research as I did, I'm going to go on the fact that it doesn't fucking matter. That's going to be my take because hear me out. If you take away Dameon Pierce's 75-yard touchdown, we're looking at the same fucking person. Almost to the T. You're talking about, 50? If you take away the 75-yard touchdown run, which was last week, which was an amazing run, no doubt. You take that away, you're looking at, 239 versus 208 yards. Both of them have a touchdown. Both of them have 10 receptions on the year. I think Najee has a couple more yards and he has a receiving touchdown. They are the same fucking person at this point in the year. I'd honestly, the only reason I'd give the slight edge to Dameon Pierce is Najee has a nasty fucking schedule. I mean, he's going to play Buffalo. There's a couple other shitty matchups in the wings. I think it's a lot closer than people think. I'm going to go, I don't really think it matters. Both good options.
I do think they're close, but I don't think it's fair to take away good plays from Dameon Pierce just for the purpose of making them equal. I think Dameon has a much better outlook rest of the season. Najee Harris is a low-end RB2. Dameon Pierce is a high-end RB2. I bet Dameon Pierce will finish at least 6 spots higher in points per game at the end of the year.
6. Well, here's my argument is not to discredit a big play. I'm just saying he hit one first. I mean, that's just what it is.
Even hit those. He's like David Montgomery.
Yeah, you've had a vendetta against Najee Pierce since midway through his rookie season. So,
the truth. 0 targets last week with Pickett at quarterback. Get used to that. It's gnarly. It's not going to be good. If you can sell Najee Harris, do it. Do it. Get him off your team. All right, next, would you rather rest of the season? I have Christian Kirk and Courtland Sutton. Which one are you taking rest of the season?
When I dug into this one, I had to. I mean, you can't ignore the data and saying Christian Kirk. Russell Wilson is not good. I don't know if it's Russell Wilson isn't good or if it's the Broncos play calling isn't good. I'm sure it's a mixture of the two. As much as I love Courtland Sutton, all the data is there to tell you it's Christian Kirk, and barring an injury or Christian Kirk sleeping with Trevor Lawrence's wife or something, like it's probably going to be Christian Kirk rest of the season.
Yeah, I'll take a victory lap on that. I had him really high in my rankings, and he's outperformed that. He's a top 12 wide receiver in PPR scoring. A lot of yak yardage. He gets fed targets. Just a really valuable guy. I don't know what's going on in Denver. I don't think it's Russell as much as I think it's Hackett. I think that you could still maximize Russell if you knew how to do it. Hackett's not doing it. They only brought in Hackett because they thought they'd get Aaron Rodgers. And then they have to get Russell Wilson, and they're completely different quarterbacks after playing completely different offenses. But once Hackett's fired, I think Wilson, Sutton, they'll figure it out a little bit. Hopefully, Javonte, knock on wood, he recovers well. Our Lord and Savior has fallen, but he will rise again. So, who's the new coach?
I just don't. I don't. So 3 weeks into the season, Nathaniel Hackett hires. Oh God, who did he hire?
Yeah, this is funny. The Ravens
Yeah,
assistant or whatever.
Yeah, to make decisions for him. Because he can't manage a play clock. He can't apparently manage a game, so he had to hire a decision maker. And that was a telltale sign to me that shit was way worse than I thought it was. I mean, yeah, they're not good, but I mean, not even Urban Meyer hired a decision maker, and he kicked his punter in the face or whatever the fuck he did. I can't remember. Yeah, it's all bad there, man. I mean, here's the thing is you got to think about this. If it takes 2 years for them to decide to move on from Hackett, fuck, Russell Wilson's going to be 37, 38 years old at that point. I mean, I'm not saying he's done, but he's definitely not got a lot of time left at that point. So that's kind of in my mind, if they go sub 500, they got to move on. I mean, all the pieces are there, right? I mean, even with Javonte Williams going down, they have a good offensive line. Melvin Gordon's not terrible. Great receiving core, should be at least. Should be a better defense than it is. There's a lot of things that go into it for me. So, yeah, I think it's Nathaniel Hackett, though.
All in all. He's terrible. God awful. All right. Trade review.
Okay.
In a keeper redraft league, Dalvin Cook for Rashad Penny and Cortland Sutton. Which side won?
I like Dalvin a little bit. I mean, his injury history just terrifies me about him. I read into it after we talked about it. He's got this ungodly shoulder issue where last week I think it was were they playing the Lions? I can't remember. He's been wearing a brace for God knows how long. Decided he didn't need the brace. Went out there, fucked up his shoulder more, and now he's permanently on a shoulder brace for the rest of the season. That is the only thing that scares me about it. I mean, definitely upside wise, I think the Dalvin side of that trade is the way to go. People sleep on Rashad Penny, but he is a boomer bust. I mean, that's just really the truth of it. He's either going to go out there and get you 6 or he's going to get you 30. I don't really understand it.
Infuriating start-sit decision, guys, where you just know you're going to be wrong every week.
Yeah, well, unless you're in a position where you don't have a choice but to start him, and then you're either happy or not.
Cook is the cheapest running back you can buy that could potentially, if things break a certain way, be a top 3 running back. I do not like the shoulder injury history. However, especially if you can pick up the Madison piece in another trade, even if you have to overpay, you get locked in RB1 production. Cook's going to figure it out. 20 carries pretty much every game except the Philadelphia game. 5, 6, and 2 targets in 3 or 4 games. So he's getting work in the pass game more so than the last few years. And he's gaining good yardage. It's not like he's inefficient like a Najee Harris. He's getting 190 yards on these 20 touches. I do really like Dalvin rest of the season. The injury history could be his downfall, but if you can get him for Penny or Sutton, so a running back 2, 3, and a wide receiver 2, I'd do that all day long if you're needy. That team had Javonte Williams, so their decisions had to be made.
I got a stat for you that I stumbled across while I was doing my research. What do you think the longest rush on the Minnesota Vikings is this year? Yardage.
Who or how much?
How much? Doesn't matter who.
16 yards.
You're close. 17. 17 yards is their longest rush this year, and guess where that ranks them?
Bottom fourth.
Dead fucking last. This is what I found in my research to when I'm going to court for Najee, I'm trying to do some research, and dead last, Minnesota Vikings, 17 yards. And I don't even know that was Dalvin Cook. I didn't even dig that far into it. I don't know. Just an interesting piece of the thing that's like, I like Dalvin. I think the thing that concerns me is they are most definitely a pass first team. And I really wanted to believe he was well in the game script going into the year, but I just don't know, man. I just don't. I haven't seen anything to tell me that it's as good as I thought it was going
to be. Yeah, I understand the other side. I think we've seen uptick. I really do.
But all in all, I'd take that trade.
If you get 20 touches a game, there's potential at running back. It really doesn't matter as long as you can work on the goal line. So
on the other side of that, let's talk about my trade from this week. Josh Jacobs for DK Metcalf in Dynasty. What do you think?
Well, I thought that was a huge win. You build successful Dynasty rosters through having locked in future stud wide receivers and then just figuring out running back. And that's that type of move. Josh Jacobs is only going to go downhill from him. He doesn't have that much longer in the league. And DK Metcalf is going to be a stud. And if they start to suck and they can get a quarterback in a deep quarterback class this year, he could be a wide receiver 1 year to year. Super easy.
Man, I mean, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced quarterback's their biggest need.
I think Geno gets figured out. You got to remember, there's been no tape on him forever. I think he gets figured out a little bit.
I mean, I'm just saying, through 4 weeks, he looked like a baller.
Yeah, so a lot of guys who don't have a lot of tape on him.
Don't you dare disrespect Daddy Goff. Don't
Goff
you
had
dare.
like 2 years, and then it was like, oh, we know how to stop this guy. All right.
Quarterback 5 on the year.
Ridiculous. Locks for the week. Betting locks for the week. Dallas at the Rams under 42. Why are you locking that in?
I just think both offenses are really struggling. More so the Cowboys. They're not they're winning games, but they are not electric. And that is the thing I think that's going to expose them against the Rams. The Rams are probably really looking for a get-right game after losing to the 49ers, I think is who they lost to last week. And that's a perfect opportunity for them. But on the same token, I don't think the Rams offense is really clicking like it should. They're just absolutely getting manhandled on the defensive line. I just expect this to be a low-scoring game. Matt Stafford can't hit anybody that's not Cooper Kupp or Tyler Higbee. I know you have some issues with that yourself. Just look for it to be a low-scoring game. I think the defenses outplay the offenses on both ends of the both teams. And I'm not really in love with either offense right now.
Yeah, I think the elbow issue with Stafford is actually a really big deal, but they're not putting it out there like that. Do you think Allen Robinson will get it figured out this year?
I don't think it's Allen Robinson's thing to figure out. I really don't. I mean, I'm not going to say. What's that?
He has a top 10 snap share. He plays in the top 10% of wide receiver snaps. He runs routes.
I don't think it's Allen Robinson's thing to figure out. I think it's more Matt Stafford's thing to figure out. I mean, I'm not going to act like I've watched a lot of Rams games this year, but the ones I did, Allen Robinson was wide fucking open. I mean, and that's a concern for me for Matt Stafford. I'm like, he doesn't get past look two. It's Kupp, it's Higbee. And then he just takes the sack. I mean, that's what he does. Or maybe he's not getting the time to go to the third look, but Cooper Kupp can't always be the first look. I mean, there's a lot of issues there, and they don't look like a team that's even contending at this point. I'd be surprised if they win that division.
I would too. I like the under in that game as well. Cooper Rush is going to struggle against Donald and Ramsey and the rest of that Rams defense. Stafford's been bad, low scoring affair. Curious about a Cam Akers anytime touchdown. If I were doing a touchdown scorer for that game, it would be Cam Akers. My first lock, I have Tom Brady over 2.5 touchdowns. We'll talk about it later. We have a really fun Tom Brady focusing on his work podcast parlay after a really rough week in the Brady household. So I have Brady over 2.5 touchdowns passed against Atlanta. Brady threw 9 touchdowns against Atlanta last year. I think he has a major get-right game. I think Brady goes off against Atlanta, and it's of no fault of their own. They didn't do anything to deserve this.
Yes. When you put it like that, the type of guy that Brady is, and he's going to go out there and sling that wang all over that field. I would hate to be a member of the Atlanta Falcons defense because they are going to fucking take it. And they did nothing to deserve it.
No, they are fucked. All right. And Godwin's healthy. Not healthy, but healthier. Played well last week. Should have a big week this week.
Do you think he called Gronk this week and said, "Hey, buddy, lace up one more for me"?
All right, your next lock: Philadelphia -5.5 versus Arizona.
Oh yeah, dude. I am really as time goes on, I'm really hopping on this Eagles bandwagon. They just have an electric offense. They have a great defense. I was a pretty vocal Sirianni hater, but he's putting something together there, man. I mean, they're the only undefeated team left in the league, and I'm also equally as down on the Cardinals as I am as up on the Eagles. Cardinals have just continuously underperformed. Kyler Murray isn't quite doing what I thought he was going to do going into this year, same as last year. I mean, they're just, with Cliff Kingsbury, they're just consistent underperformers. They let games that they should easily win go down to the wire. They lose games they should have won. I'm just not in on them at all, and you just can't stop Jalen Hurts right now. I mean, the dude is doing it.
Yeah, I am also jumping on the Eagles bandwagon. They're good. I doubted
They
him.
are.
I was wrong. He's good. He's not an elite quarterback, but his skill set is unique enough that he just has to be above average. And he's been that. He's been good this year. I have Philadelphia by a 7-point win. So I have Philadelphia by 7. So I really like the -5.5. If you bet on Barstool, you can move the line. I'll probably be betting 7.5. My last lock, staying with the same game, Philadelphia versus Arizona. I have that game going over 48.5 points. Philadelphia is 4th in the NFL in scoring. They're going to put it on this Cardinals defense. I'm sure Kyler figures out some type of offense, at least in garbage time. I see probably 52, 53 points being a true outcome in this game. So, yeah, I really like this over 48.5.
I'm in on that one, too. I mean, Kyler really, he's the short Kirk Cousins. He really pads his stats in garbage time. And that's great for fantasy owners. That's great for, DFS players, but they're just not the team we thought they'd be. Kyler Murray has the skill set to be an every year potential MVP. And he just consistently underperforms. And I talked about this a little bit either on the last pod or the one before about how someone measured his stat line pre Call of Duty release and post Call of Duty release. And when you see the stats in front of you like that, you're like, trade him now, because it's gonna go in the shitter once Call of Duty comes. I mean, like, it was like night and fucking day. And I got a lot of Kyler Murray in some leagues, so I might need to look into that.
It's I don't know if he's a good quarterback or a good fantasy quarterback or what, because Cliff Kingsbury just inhibits anything. I'd be curious to see him in a real NFL offense.
Yeah, I mean, here's the question: is Kyler Murray what we thought Jalen Hurts was going into the year? Is that who he is? Jalen Hurts what we thought Kyler Murray was going into the year?
I still think Kyler has a better arm. I'll take Kyler over Hurts any day. I think that Kingsbury, like I said, he inhibits Kyler more than anything that Kyler has to do with it. I don't think Kyler particularly likes to play for him.
I think Kyler throws a better ball, but I think at this point right now, and I don't know if Kyler's just laying down, playing dead, trying to get his coach fired, but I think from what I've seen this year, I think Jalen Hurts is a better playmaker at this moment right now. Potential-wise, no.
He's a better leader, and he's better in the Eagle structure than Kyler could even try to be in Cliff's offense.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I would take Hurts over Kyler right now too, but I think overall Kyler way up.
Yeah, no, potential-wise, it's not even close, but I'm talking about right here, right now, what we're doing.
Yeah, Hurts has been good. I've been pleasantly surprised. He's better than I thought. Like 12th, 13th best quarterback in the NFL.
I mean, the numbers say 4, I think.
There's not. I can name 10 quarterbacks right now I'd rather have.
Well, I was going to say the numbers also say Jared Goff is a QB5 on the year. So.
All right.
Good on him. Good on him.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, good on Jared Goff. Good on him. I mean, my man needed a win.
Goff has played good. That Lions team is interesting. Goff is approaching, and we'll talk about it later. Goff is approaching that Hall of Fame level of garbage time production that we saw Blake Bortles and Kirk Cousins have.
Yeah, they just owned it for all those years. No, I mean, here's the thing that scares the shit out of me. They're a good quarterback away from being a nasty fucking team. I mean, if Jared Goff could be the QB5, I could probably go out there and be the QB20. Just saying.
Yeah. When CJ Stroud goes there.
No. CJ Stroud going to Houston, dog. We're losing every game. And tying one.
I'd rather see him in Detroit with Jameson Williams.
Fuck off.
All right. Your parlay on the week. Jacksonville-Houston game. You have a Robinson anytime touchdown, a Dameon Pierce anytime touchdown, Lawrence over 199.5 passing yards, and Jacksonville money line plus 500 are the odds on this guy.
I hated to do it, but I'm just being real. I mean, it is what it is. We're not a very good defense, especially. We stand no chance in hell of winning this game. I think Trevor Lawrence is for real. Our secondary has taken a big step, but we're still not there yet. I mean, that's just kind of what it is. I think Stingley, I think Petrie, they're going to be some dogs for some time to come. But we're still not as a unit where we're going to be competitive. I love James Robinson in this game. He's one of my big plays this week, and it's just truly because I think the game script's going to go south probably within about 5 minutes. And it is what it is. I mean, our offense can't keep up. Jacksonville has a very underrated defense. They're a defense that, at least fantasy scoring wise, they're one I targeted in almost every league I was in this week because they have the third highest scoring fantasy defense, playing one of the worst offenses in the league. So, our only chance of putting any type of points on the board is going to be Dameon Pierce. I think that's really the only shot we got. I hope we. The only thing for this parlay is I hope he gets in the end zone before it goes too far south. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I like this one a lot. I like the Robinson anytime. He has 14 red zone touches, sixth in the NFL. There's a pretty clear split between him and ETN. They both get roughly the same amount of PT, but very clear that Robinson's the goal line guy, ETN's the pass catcher. Pierce anytime. If you guys do score, there's a very good chance it's Pierce. Pierce has just been blowing up these last few weeks. I think he's, like I said, high-end RB2 rest of the season. Lawrence has arrived. He is that dude. He's only going to get better from here. I think it's easy that he has over 199 passing yards. Jacksonville money line I like. I have them for the spread. So Jacksonville money line is one I like a lot. Takes away all of that risk that you get with the spread. So really like that one, especially with the plus 500 odds. My parlay is all about Brady diving into his work this week. Again, rough week for the Brady household. Supermodel wife decided to leave. Brady's going to be the first man in history to get alimony.
He's not, but yeah.
He's gonna take every last penny of Giselle's. All right, Brady over 2.5 passing touchdowns. We talked about that one earlier. He's only tossed multiple touchdowns one time this season, but this is going to be a get-right game. Brady might hang fucking 60 on these guys. If he's real mad, they might set a scoring record. You heard it first here. So, love that Brady over 2.5 passing touchdowns. Brady over 26.5 completions. Last 2 weeks, he's tossed over 30. Again, get-right game for this offense. Brady over 280 passing yards. Topped this last week only. All 3 other weeks, he has not hit over 280 passing yards. But, again, vintage Tom Brady performance here. He's going to give them the Michael Jordan knockout punch that we used to see in the 90s with Bulls games, only the football version. So, yeah, watch Brady let him hang this week. In conjunction with the Brady stats, I have a Godwin anytime touchdown. He saw 10 targets on a 53% snap share. And then I also have Godwin over 58.5 receiving yards. He hit 59 last week. I think he's going to play a little more, be a little more involved. This guy is plus 1,300. And Atlanta's 17th in pass DVOA, and they have not played great passing teams these last few weeks. So I think Brady's going to carve these boys up, like we said earlier. It's really unfortunate because it's of no fault of theirs, but it's going to get ugly.
Yeah, no, I think that's just exactly the kind of person Brady is. Very weird situation he's in. Because if she's been with him as long as they have, I can't believe it was that fucking surprising that he was going to go back. For his 24th year, whatever he's on. Yeah, it shouldn't have been that much of a surprise. But yeah, Brady's just the type of guy to go out there and outplay every game he's ever played. I bet he goes out there and hustles harder than if there was a Brady rushing over, if it was like a yard or two, fuck yeah, I'd take that. Um, he's going to go out there and play at a level I don't think we've seen. So yeah, I'm in on all that. Godwin, I think, is going to be heavily involved. They very very mightily struggled when they were lacking receivers, and now that they have some back, I think Brady's just going to fucking be out there dealing.
Yeah, it's gonna get so ugly. I can't wait to watch it. I still like to watch Tom Brady play football. I don't care. I don't care he doesn't play for the Patriots. Bailey
I
Zapp
do
season.
too.
Bailey Zapp season. He's better than Hoyer. I'll say it now. Bailey Zapp might be better than Mac.
I don't know. They, I know you've been a Mac hater, and this kind of ties into my whole C.J. Stroud to Houston thing. Here's the deal: is Ohio State quarterbacks and Alabama quarterbacks have never really done that great in the NFL. Don't ask me why. I can't explain it, but I like CJ's intangibles a little bit more. I think he's about 6 or 8 inches taller. Runs a faster 40 than Bryce Young. Just playing better right now, for being real honest. And that's the way I'd go if I was Houston when we picked #1. Because, dude, you look at our schedule, it's nasty. We ain't gonna play very well the rest of the year. I mean, we got a couple of games we might be able to win. I think we play New York at some point. Just a couple maybes is kind of where we're sitting for this year. So honestly, at this point, I hope we suck. I hope Cleveland sucks, and I hope we kind of clean up in the draft.
I wish we would take for a real quarterback. I'd take Will Levis even. Mac is not. He's not it. And that's not even just because I'm holding him to this crazy high Tom Brady standard. He's just not. He might be. He might be Matt Ryan at the tail end of his Falcons career. Maybe.
Well, honestly, I think he would do a hell of a lot better if it wasn't Matt fucking Patricia involved.
And I think something to do with it too.
I mean, because he played at a good level last year, especially for a rookie. Yeah, I wouldn't say dump him just yet, because I know they're not going to get a good enough draft position to get anybody worth a shit, but there's some questions to be answered in New England. Is Belichick really still it?
No, he needs to retire.
But then who is it? You know?
Kyle Shanahan.
He ain't going to fucking leave his cushy ass shit in San Francisco to go to New England.
What do you think? Sean McVay when he gets fired.
He ain't going to get fired. He got a lifetime.
Let Patricia be the head coach, so you just suck and just stockpile talent. And then Sean, Kyle, here's an open check. Got him back. Big brain. All right, your first love on the week. James Robinson versus Philadelphia.
Not Philadelphia. Houston.
God damn it. Sorry, I did not. I don't know why I did that. Now I'm going to check all the other
ones. Yeah, versus Houston. I think this is a week where James Robinson's going to get a lot of action. Game script's going to go bad real quick. And honestly, going into this week, I think James Robinson could be the RB1 on the week. As much as that pains me to say we're that bad on defense, we're going to get gashed left and right. I don't think it's a week for ETN. Honestly, I couldn't have missed harder on ETN, and I'm kind of at this point, as long as James Robinson's there, I kind of wonder if he's not more Nyheim Hines. That's kind of the vibe that I've been getting this year. It sucks, but he's kind of that elite backup. If James Robinson were to fuck himself up again, maybe we'd be talking about a different thing. But Yeah, James Robinson, he's the dude. RB1 on the week is very likely.
Yeah, I like James Robinson a lot. They played Philly last week, so I remember I copied and pasted mine from last week talking about it. Didn't even switch it. But I do like Robinson this week. Houston is 23rd in rush DVOA right now. They're getting gouged. Robinson is the runner there. He might score 2 or 3 touchdowns tomorrow. I might see what's up with James Robinson multiple touchdown scorer bet, because if he were to do it, it would be this game. My first love, I have A.J. Dillon going up against the Giants at 8:30 a.m. bright and early in London. The Giants are 21st. The Giants are 21st in rush DVOA. Dillon is getting an actual, real, like high-end RB2 workload. 14 carries, 3.5 targets a game, 10 red zone touches on the year. So the production is there. I mean, obviously you'd want more like 20 carries and 4 or 5 targets, but that's enough to do something with, especially in a single game. The Giants have allowed 129, 215, and 149 rushing yards the last 3 weeks. So a bad Carolina team, a Dallas team led by Cooper Rush, and then Chicago. I'm looking for Rodgers to carve the D up, and I think A.J. Dillon will see more than 1 red zone touch at least. Maybe 2, 3, 4 goal line touches. He's another potential 2 touchdown scorer bet. I also placed a bet Aaron Jones anytime touchdown with the Dillon anytime touchdown. It was plus 420. So I like that as well. I like both running backs. A.J. Dillon, just a good flex play. I'm playing him this week in a couple leagues. I think he scores a touchdown, and that gives you value right there.
So my thought on A.J. Dillon, I think him and Kareem Hunt are in a very rare category. They are, in my opinion, the only 2 playable week by week backup running backs. And I think they get that workload based off of their skill set versus the other guy. Personally, this week especially, I'd be taking Dillon. A.J. Dillon's the kind of guy that I started like when Aaron Jones's contract was up. I started the A.J. Dillon train. Dude, I was the conductor, right? I wanted all of that. And then he re-signed, and I was like, well, fuck. There goes that, because I was so ready for him to be that guy in that offense with that opportunity low, because he's a monster. I mean, he really is. He's the kind of guy that he might be on the Packers, but I bet you he could go start for 20 other NFL teams right now, at least. And yeah, this week especially, I think they're going to beat the brakes off the Giants. Is Tyrod starting, or is Danny Dimes going to play? Doesn't matter.
I don't think it really matters, but
I don't think it does. I don't think it does either. But A.J. Dillon, I think he is starting. Fuck, they'd probably be better off they played Tyrod. But I think Brian DeBall's making the best out of Daniel Jones that he can do, but you're still limited by a lot. So yeah, absolutely. A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones, going to be a lot of them, because honestly, surprisingly, the Packers passing game isn't working. Not. No matter what. I mean, they have flashes of brilliance, but there's just something not right there.
Yeah, they lack an alpha receiver. Your next love, Gerald Everett versus Cleveland.
Gerald Everett. Do you know he's the tight end, I think, 4 on the year?
I was a year too.
Tight end 4. Well, you were on the wrong team was the problem. He was on the wrong team. I think a lot of his workload is completely dependent on Keenan Allen not being there. His injury has only benefited Jared out. Oh, God damn it. Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett. Here's the deal. This week's going to be a great week, but here's what I'm going to tell you. Immediately turn around and sell. If you have Gerald Everett on your fantasy roster and he goes ape shit crazy this week, because you know he's gonna. I mean, Justin Herbert's just too good. He's going to get it to somebody. Keenan Allen's not there. It ends up being Gerald Everett. Take this big week and turn around and sell him. Because as soon as Keenan Allen gets back, he's going to eat it up. And that's just who Keenan Allen is, who he's always been. As soon as he gets back on the field, the dynamic changes for that offense. And it's better for the offense, and you'll see a huge decline. So get him off your roster after this week. I'm just telling everybody.
I'm a fan of how they've handled Keenan. I'm glad that he'll be healthy when he comes back. And that does spell bad news for Gerald Everett. He's not going to be utilized the same way. Allen is the target hog in this offense when he's there. He's too good not to be. Cleveland's 18th in passing offense. I just think Herbert's going to carve him up. I don't really think it'll be particularly close. Yeah, I love Gerald Everett as a play. He's a great play as long as Keenan Allen's out.
I like a Kareem Hunt this week. I like a Kareem Hunt anytime, probably. I think it's going to get out of hand quick, and they're going to have to throw their way out of it if they can. I don't really think they can. Los Angeles defense hasn't really been what we thought it would be. As loaded as they are, they've had some injuries. I would definitely take a Kareem Hunt anytime this week.
Yeah, I like that. So going across Ohio into Pennsylvania, we have George Pickens going up against Buffalo as my last love. Check down Mitch, out, no longer. He's done. Kenny Two Gloves comes in. Pickens automatically 8 targets, 157 air yards. I see a very super positive pass game script for the Steelers, and I see that happening really fast. And the deal is Pickett is too inexperienced to know any better, so he's just going to fucking sling it. Is it going to be intercepted? Is it going to be caught? He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't know any different. Everything's just happening. So we saw last week he doesn't care about slinging it around. I love Pickens' play this week. I also like his anytime touchdown line. It's plus 350. I got in on that earlier today. Absolutely, I really like that. I think Kenny Pickett's going to be aggressive. I think Pickens is that guy. I'm not sure he has the rapport with Claypool, but him and Pickens have something going, and you can tell. It's pretty evident already. So love Pickens as a flex play this week.
Yeah, I think just on a side note, I think Pickens with Kenny Pickett going in goes into a conversation where he's going to be an every week starter here in your class before long. I think I saw something that said he was unowned in 50%, maybe 40% of leagues. He needs to be rostered in every format going forward just because of the rapport he has with Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett's going to go out there and go for the deep bomb. I love George Pickens as a receiver. I invested in Dynasty, and I'm holding until I have a reason to move him. He is just that good. Very, very. He's got a lot of tendencies. I'm trying to think of a good receiver to compare him to. He's got like Chad Johnson. That's my comparison. He's just that nasty, like even in the NFL in the regular season, like he'll go on a block and just throw someone on the ground just for no fucking reason, and I love it. Love to watch it. He's definitely gonna, I said this at the beginning of the year. He's gonna serve some games on suspension, probably for some domestic violence at some point. But he's gonna be a really good receiver in the NFL, and I think last week was the beginning of the coming out party, and I think this week might be the finalizing of it.
Yeah. We want to trade for him. Get him now. It'll be the cheapest he'll be. All right, Hates.
Not for me.
You have both Bears running backs going up against Minnesota.
And this one for me, I don't know who's playing. I think David Montgomery's still questionable. We go into the week. It's not necessarily the Vikings defense that scares me any. It's just how bad the Bears offense is. They rush a lot, but here's the thing. I think the game gets out of hand probably first quarter. So I would hate to have to depend on a Bears running back this week just for that reason alone. And honestly, going forward, I mean, they don't really scream a team that's going to make a comeback. I think they're going to be a bottom dweller. And I think ultimately, as much as I hate to say it, I think Justin Fields is going to pay the price for how bad that team is. If they pick top 5, I mean, could you see them not going quarterback?
I just don't think the new regime has that much confidence in Fields.
I love Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields think about Justin Fields even on the Carolina Panthers. He would be a very good player. Carolina Panthers, New York Giants, some of those teams that are they've got quarterbacks, they're just not that good. I think he would be dynamic in New York with the Giants, but shit happens, and ultimately someone's got to take the fall. Yeah, the Bears are just a bad organization, and they're always going to be. But, yeah, don't love a Bears running back this week. I wouldn't want to have to start one.
Yeah, I like Khalil Herbert every week if Montgomery's not playing. I think Herbert's going to overtake Montgomery by the end of the year. He's playing good. I don't think they give that up. But if both are playing, I just generally want to stay away too. I don't even want to mess with it. My first hate, Goff versus New England. Jared Goff is quarterback 5. But Bill Belichick's figured him out. I mean, we saw it in the Super Bowl, figuring him out. Bill Belichick, while he is not the greatest general manager anymore, I still have a lot of confidence in him as a defensive coach. Our defense has played well. Our offense isn't good. But Bill's side, solid. Belichick when I look at games, I think about coordinator versus coordinator. And Belichick is just worlds better than the Lions offensive coordinator, Dan Campbell. I mean, Belichick's going to be able to outsmart them, figure out what's going on. I think the whole offense suffers because of this. Jamal Williams might score a touchdown. I mean, that would be reasonable, but I don't think they're going to put up a shitload of points like they have. And like we talked about earlier, Goff is becoming this garbage time, Blake Bortles, Kirk Cousins type of guy. I just don't think New England's pass defense is.
I mean, he is what he is. I mean, yeah, he's a better garbage time guy than both those guys, to be honest with you. And honestly, their defense puts him in a position where he's gonna have those opportunities to perform in garbage time just because it's that close. I mean, that fucking Seattle game, it was over 90 points.
Yeah.
I remember tweeting that. I'm like, y'all all had Detroit, Seattle over 90, right? And their defense puts them in that position. They've got great players on that defense, but now this game, I don't really see it being that though. I don't really see New England's offense challenging them the way that the other teams have. I think it's going to be a low-scoring affair, and I think Jared Goff's weapons not. T.J. Hockenson ain't going to have another 40 points. He's just not going to do it. And if he does, I'll shut the fuck up. I will. I'll go. If T.J. Hockenson has another 40-point game, I will go buy a T.J. Hockenson jersey, and I'll DM him and say I'm sorry, Daddy.
All right. Your last hate, Hollywood Brown going up against Philadelphia.
Yeah, dude, he ain't gonna be it. He ain't it. Those corners in Philly, they are the real deal. in my opinion, they might be the best 1-2 cornerback game in the league. Those guys are nasty. They can hold Justin Jefferson to nothing. They can hold a lot of other guys to damn near nothing. I don't think it's a Hollywood Brown week. I think we're gonna see probably a lot of Greg Dortch or whatever the fuck his name is. That guy bust on the scene out of nowhere.
How do you like Hollywood rest of the season? Where do you think he finishes?
Oh, I would be trying to get rid of Hollywood Brown.
Really?
Yeah, because Daddy Hopkins coming back.
I don't think Hopkins is elite anymore, but I think Hopkins coming back helps Brown.
Do you think? Okay, so here's a question. From the game Hopkins gets back, do you think it's who finishes better?
I think they're really close, but probably I'm going to go Hollywood. I think Hollywood's going to get more manufactured touches. I think Hopkins will score more touchdowns, but I think Marquise is going to work up way more yards and way more catches.
You better put some respect on DeAndre.
I just don't. I mean, he's showing all right. He's good still, but my last hate, I have DJ Moore going up against San Francisco. San Francisco's defense has been amazing this year. Baker Mayfield has not. The peripherals are all good for DJ Moore, right? 95% snap share, 6+ targets every game. I just don't think Baker's going to get it to him. Baker's going to get fucking killed this week. I wouldn't like starting any Panthers. Obviously you have to start McCaffrey, but I wouldn't even want to start him because I just don't think this is going to be a good game for them at all. Look for San Francisco to dominate. I like George Kittle anytime touchdown lines. I think he's eventually going to get in with Garoppolo. However, apparently Kyle Shanahan wants him to play left tackle, so that's a thing. But in general, staying away from DJ Moore this week.
Yeah, I mean DJ Moore breaks my heart, man. He's a guy that I like a lot. As a receiver, he's another one of those, man. You take him and you put him on a bunch of other teams, he'd do a hell of a lot better. The Carolina Panthers are absolutely clueless. DJ Moore had better seasons with a well past his prime Cam Newton, Kyle Allen, a bunch of other fucking no-name guys. That answers the question. I was doing some research on this earlier. Houston's backup is Kyle Allen. We talked about that the other day. We didn't even know who it was. It's Kyle Allen. He had a better season with Kyle Allen, Heineke, all them fucking guys. And Baker Mayfield is absolute fucking garbage. It is what it is. He is who he is. It's honestly depressing at this point, but this will be his last year as a starting quarterback. After this, I mean, if Carolina goes into next year with him as a starting quarterback, that's on them at that point. They just want to be a bottom dweller, and that's just what it is. So yeah, I'm way out on DJ Moore. I have him in a lot of leagues, and it sucks, but at this point, the value isn't even there to even consider a trade. So I gotta wait until better things come.
Do you think Sam Darnold sees the field this year?
He should. I mean, what the fuck do they have to lose? I mean, you got to think about this from the perspective of, okay, they're both bad, but if I throw one in and get a spark, you can only let someone be bad for so long before you're like, fuck it, let's try this guy and see if anything different happens. That's kind of my take on it. And for DJ Moore's sake, I think Sam Darnold would be an upgrade because Sam Darnold couldn't look anywhere else but DJ Moore. That was what I saw last year. He has eyes for no one but DJ.
Yep. All right, Caden, anything else we want to hit?
Good luck, everybody, this week. It's been a wild year. There's teams that I thought would be great that aren't great. There's teams that I thought would be horrible that are doing really good. So I hope you win every matchup this week, unless you're playing me.
As do I, hoping to stay undefeated in our dynasty league. 5-0.
And, well, I got Michael Thomas out, I got JT out, and I got Kyle Pitts out. So I'm about as good as fuck in that league.
You're actually probably gonna do better without Kyle Pitts.
I put in Logan Thomas, so we'll see.
All right, guys. We will see you on Wednesday morning. Have a good night, guys.